Got soaked, yeah.
She gone. April.
Ready? You ready to go?
All right, we'll call to order the meeting, Osnaburg Township regular meeting on Monday, May 10th, 2021. Time is 7:32. Please stand for the pledge of flag and short motion. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Lord, we ask that you guide us tonight in our decisions to best benefit our township residents. We ask that you send a nice auditor, that everything goes well for Brian this week. And we ask that you be with the mothers of our world, that keep them safe, and for Happy Mother's Day. Amen.
There's such thing as a nice auditor.
I'm sure
I'm sure there is.
Well, I'm sure Brian will be ready to go.
Yes.
All right. Approve any additions to the meeting agenda. I have an update on the Stuckey Sam Crable under the road report.
And I have something for the road report too. Question from residents.
Okay.
On your zoning, or not zoning, yes, zoning report that I have on the agenda where it says PO needed for new drive and zoning, computer and zoning office. That one is good. If you notice, if you drop down to where it says new business, there's another one on there. It says for the old laptop to be used in here, there was $165. We did have two bills, but you already approved the one. So I need approval for the one.
For the 165.
Yeah, the 165 under zoning. That's the one we had. I missed it. We had to put a brand new internal hard drive in that zoning computer. In her
The desktop?
The desktop,
Yeah.
yes.
And then I have another one for zoning. I have a question from the resident. I'll bring it up then.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Now we'll move on to the trustee meeting minutes for 4/26/2021.
Griffith, a motion that we approve the minutes from, which one did you say, Randy?
This was 426.
4/26/2021.
From 4/26.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed?
If you would like to move to the next one, it happens to be both of them are on each
Oh,
side.
okay.
Next, we'll move to the special trustee meeting minutes of 5/6/2021.
Trustee Griffith, a motion we approve the 5/6/2021 motion from the special meeting. the minutes.
Trustee Barry in second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Well, that's moving around. We'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Trustee Barry moves to accept the treasurer's report as presented.
Trustee Griffith, seconds.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do we have any public speaks? Let's see, none. Fire report.
I just have a couple of updates for you all. 255, so the medic unit needed that auto eject put in. Dale was able to put that in, and there was he put in a new circuit breaker, like from the shoreline into the inverter. I think he said it was about $15 from Lowe's. And he was able to put all of that in. I worked with him Friday, and he said it's all charging appropriately, which
Great.
that would be fantastic if that all works, because we've been having electrical issues with that forever. But he spent a whole bunch of time on Friday and Saturday tracing it all out. He's pretty sure. I talked to him today, and he said it's still charging. So,
That's great.
and then 241 went over today to RVs to have them look at the air pump. I don't have an answer. I don't know what they said.
Okay.
So I tried talking to Dane. He didn't have an answer of what the deal was, but I know RVs looked at 41
All right.
today.
So, and to recap 255, it has a new shoreline over, it has a new port in the side of the unit, now has a new fusible link to an
Yes.
inverter, and it
Yes.
has 2 new batteries.
Yes,
All of that to solve it. That's good.
I'm hoping.
All right, cool. Great.
I'm hoping.
And 241 also needs a mud flap. I can't remember if we talked about this last meeting, but it came back from
54.
54.
Yeah. the
Sorry,
Tiger needs a
sorry, yeah,
mud
241 is the engine. 254. It needs a mud flap. The tanker went out for the repair from the Vantech and came back with 1 mud flap missing. And I don't really know if it went with one, because that was where it was very rusty. So I'm thinking it might have,
flap. It may have not. been the entire
I'm gonna
trip.
go measure for the mud flap and run grab one. You said cross, didn't you?
Yeah,
Cross truck?
Cross tracking.
yeah.
So a bunch of mud flap sizes for
I
me.
think at all different
right.
sizes. Lengths.
Great.
Yeah.
And then as far as any update on the tanker, have you guys had it out?
Just for driving. We haven't used
We
it
haven't
on the
used it
fire
yet.
yet.
Dang it, I was hoping that thing would be used. It's been gone for so long, but we don't want to fire though.
I mean, we could,
Go shoot water. All right, great.
19 calls, 15 ALS calls. Honestly, we don't run very many BLS calls anymore. Almost everybody's a paramedic now, so that's fantastic. 4 fire calls, 2 assists to Canton Fire, both on Soldier. 1 assist to Canton Township, and 1 assist each from Louisville and Quad. That's all I got.
On fire report A, there are additional PO needed for Vantech. That original estimate was $30,000. The bill came in at $30,943.25. That $943.25 was 2 new batteries, a second water leak that they found when they put the big unit back together. And so we're over our $30,000 estimate by $943.25. That bill has already landed on Brian's desk, so I'd like to move to go ahead and get that paid if we can. So Trustee Barry moves to pay $943.25 toward the tanker truck to finish up that rebuild of the boxes and the frame repair.
Are we doing an increase or a new?
It's all separate, might as well be separate.
You do a resolution for the 943.25. It's on the prepared document, and I have the PO prepared for
Okay,
it with tonight's date.
so Barry makes a motion for the $943.25 separate from the $30,000 estimate.
Trustee Griffith seconds that.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right. Anything else? Good. Move on to cemetery.
Section Shearer did drop off money for Indian Run and open and closing of, it says Glenda Mayer, and then it has Wyatt. I'm not sure if that's the last name of Wyatt is who's buried, because I never got to talk to him about it. But the Mayer, Maher, is the lot that the grave was open and closed there. And we did receive $800. And that's all I have to report that he gave me.
All right. Move on to the road report.
Good evening, everyone. If the trustees have looked over the road report for May 10th, 2021, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
Why don't you talk about the signs, what you ordered?
Yes, we had ordered roughly 24 posts, sign posts, along with I think 7 brackets for signs, for street signs. We were totally out on the longer signposts, the 8-footers. So we needed to restock for that.
Well, Trustee Pirro moved to purchase municipal signs and sales for $711.32.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All right, next we got the Dexter, the boom mower.
Yes, the boom mower for $340 was ordering 2 more sets of blades, the large blades for the boom mower to make it through the summer here mowing. And then we had to order a bearing kit today for the boom mower.
They had it out, they was.
Yes,
On
they-
Friday, Brian was out trimming back brush and bearing seized.
Seized
Okay.
bottom bearing.
Do you want two?
2 separates.
Okay, Trustee Pirro moved for the new blades for the boom mower at a cost of $340.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Trustee Pirro moved for a new bearing kit for the boom mower at a cost of $490.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye. Opposed? Okay. Next, we got design salt shed roof colors.
Yeah, Mr. Miller from Miller Construction dropped off to Stu, which I did do a quick call to him. And we have the choice of colors. I'd like to pass that around.
While we're doing that, Stu, why don't you tell him what he said to you?
What he said though, as far as the colors, he said the darker colors tend to break down a lot quicker. He said the white actually lasts better and doesn't break down from the sun and everything as quick. He thinks they last much longer.
Did he say anything like that beige? Did he think like a lighter color? Did he think was as bad as I understand?
He had told me the white was the primary color everybody uses, then the beige is a secondary, like if you wanted to go beige. And then if you wanted to trim it in, you could trim it in with any of those colors. And if you have any of your brochures left, he showed me on that brochure.
There's the edge.
There's a
Well, here's the thing about that with the trim.
There's a trim showed on one of them, but he
Right.
recommended not doing it.
Hmm.
But he
If you-
said,
If you do trim on the sides, like across the bottom on them, if you look at that, some of them, that costs more.
Oh,
If you just do a white with like blue or something on the front, couple feet at the front of the tarp and the back of the tarp, it doesn't cost
I just thought the beige might match the building a little bit. here.
Well,
But
I thought about that, but
Yeah,
he
well,
said,
it might not show dirt as fast either.
he says it'll break down quicker from the sun and everything. You can see our other little one up there. It has the 9s in it, the Durapatcher. It's starting to really fade.
What color is it?
Blue.
That's pretty old though, isn't it?
I don't know how many years old. It's gotta be like what, Brian, 10 years or older?
I've been here going into 10 years and they put that little one up like a year or two before I
Okay.
came in. So it's gotta be like 12 years old. probably.
I would agree with Randy on the, if it's bright white and all the loader coming and going on that dusty trail, I mean, it's probably
It's gonna
gonna
look
show dirty.
I just thought
on
that
the
would
white.
kind of match everything else.
Yeah, the building's tan.
I'm fine with the beige.
That's fine.
So tan's what it is, because reason why I'm documenting another document, he left here with some options you all talked to me about getting with him. And he did everything I asked him to do so I could answer the questions for you.
Great.
Because I got to draw up, when I called Charlie Hall on the documentation on our bid report, he suggested getting a final contract that does an overview of any changes, anything we might want to have that in there. Dwayne Miller, when I talked to him this evening, he told me that he has one already drawn up, and Charlie had told me that he would, look it over for us as part of, that, so.
Right.
So tan is the color, right?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, next we got add-on of safety poles to the salt structure.
He gave, that was not on that original bid, and he gave that price on those. I picked up my wrong sheet here. Bear with me. Too much paperwork. I have it right with the color, huh? I'll pass this on down. Let's see, there's your posts.
Are they gold?
They're the,
Let's see, pretty
Well,
expensive. those.
they have to go down in, I think he said, approximately 10 feet, and the diameter of them, that diameter,
Yeah.
the sleeve, that's why I think it's a little more.
$1,546.
For 2 posts.
If you would look at that, trustees, I know I just got that, but at the bottom, he also gave a price if you wanted to increase
That
the
8-inch.
concrete inside and on the apron 8 inches, how much you could add on if you wanted to do that.
What do you got down there?
It's 30, if you did them both, it's with add 8 inches inside, it's $3,062. If you make it 8 inch outside, it's $1,270.
He
So we got-
mentioned to me today that if you went with the 8 inches,
Mm-hmm.
that it would probably be better to have the rebar going through that floor. But he said if you're stuck with the 6 inch, he said we'd just do with the wire. Just with the rolled out wire, how you would normally do it.
I talked to I can't remember who I talked to, but anyway, they said what they've done in the past and some of these other ones is when the top gets scarped, they come back and put 2 inches of asphalt in down the road. I think we'd be better off to wait and do that. The asphalt won't hold up on its own. You're better to have the concrete first. Wait, give it 5-10 years,
Or
and
so
then
it
come
starts
back
to
and
look
put
bad, yeah.
2 inches of that, and then it
Yeah.
lasts, rather than do
Do they have to come back and seal that anymore then? They sealed the first time.
I don't think they'll ever.
Oh, you mean that, the poly coat or
Yeah, with
whatever?
the poly seal.
I don't know.
I mean, to me,
That's
30
something we could ask him.
Yeah, is there a care to that once we start putting salt in it?
And in my mind, the sheer size of the building, it's a big building. To me, that doesn't seem like that much money. I mean, I'm not saying I want 8 inches over 6, but $3,600 to add 2 more inches over that entire thing. Didn't seem
And
that
does that
bad.
include the post or not?
No, it's
Posts
another
are separate.
$1,546 for two
Posts.
posts.
He gave options on there. The posts are a price. If you concrete just the floor inside's a price. And if you concrete thicker on the apron is one price.
I agree with that.
I would go with, go ahead, I mean,
No, please.
I was gonna say the apron I could see more, you're twisting and turning and stuff a lot, but, to me, I don't think it's necessary in the building. Trucks can't drive all over the thing anyway, they gotta stay in the center.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that $1,500 seems like a lot of money for a post, but when you run into the corner of the building
That's
a
a
year,
big
a
deal.
year in,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Me and
You
Phil,
know, if you run into the post, you ran into a $1,500 post, but you run into a $170,000
What
building.
was the price to put 8-inch
Right.
out?
$1,270 to do the pad out front.
8 inches there.
Right.
And then,
Me and Stu talked about, you can buy sleeves somewhere and you can get well casing at D&K Supply, whether they would put it in for us if we had it here.
I'm done piecemealing stuff together that we've done before. We've had too much long time. The grass truck was out of service for a long time. I mean, for, what is it, $1,200, $1,500? We just need to have the guy put it in so the building's done. Instead of trying to get more people up here.
I would agree. I think it's a lot for two poles, but if they're gonna do it as part of the deal, I'm fine with $1,500. I could take or leave the concrete. I think there's probably pros and cons of both of that. I think if you do a pour over later of asphalt, that's a whole different product of concrete. So it's gonna
Yeah.
scoop different. I mean, yeah, that's gonna change, but that's a future, to me, that's a future conversation. if you
Yeah,
decide
I'm
not to go
either
8
way
inches.
on the concrete.
Well, you've got, all right, so you got the 1,546 for the poles, but then you got the concrete for the building and concrete for the apron. Do you want to skip out on both or one or the other?
My opinion is leave them at 6. And the reason I'm saying that is only because this Miller Builders has done a bunch of these. This is not his first time.
No.
And if 6 inches is okay for what he bids, in my mind, I feel like it's okay for us.
If the base is good underneath,
That's
6
right.
inches is heavy
And
concrete.
that's solid
That's a lot
up
of
there.
concrete. In my opinion, I'd do beige top, I'd do $1,500 for the poles, and I would not increase. That'd be my opinion.
Well, the truck shouldn't really be twisting on that apron.
No, it'd
No,
just
they
be,
should be backing
it'd just
straight
be
in.
him backing up the
No,
load
but
truck.
maybe the loader, but that's it.
We twisted in the gravel, getting set to back in.
Not
you
the
know,
truck,
but not the
I meant when they're loading. But 6 inches, it all depends on the base. If they don't have a good base underneath, I don't care which, they'll crack.
Yeah.
So we need a motion for the poles,
All right, trustee Varian moves to accept the addition,
option 6.
option 6 of $1,546, even to add 2 poles, 2 safety poles to the corners of the new salt shed through Miller Builders.
Griffith will second. Are those poles yellow then?
Yeah,
they're
yellow
orange.
plastic covers.
Okay.
They're 6 inch by 7 foot long, 6 inches HDG steel boulder posts set in concrete with yellow plastic covers.
And usually the concrete, you can just literally take it off. It just sits there with gravity. So if you crack it or bump it or scuff it, you can literally just re-sleeve the casing. There's nothing exciting about plastic. It just shows you it's there.
Yeah.
You can make them look a lot nicer in 10 years if they're looking gross.
All right, all those in favor, aye? Opposed? All right.
When he was here today and talked to me, he looked at the front stoop out here, pad, walkway, coming up to the front door. I asked him to make up a quote both ways, the whole length that's there. Didn't you guys talk about possibly making that shorter, like coming back even with the rest of that cement
Right.
pad out there? I asked him to do that at that cost, at 6 inches, I think it was, thick, and doing the full length that's there like it is, and just give us the 2 different prices. So he said he'd work it up both ways, full size that's out there right now, and bring it back to where it's just even with the rest of that driveway, cement driveway out here.
All right. Sounds good. So we'll wait on that.
The other thing I wanted to ask was, we went out here today out back. If you walk out the back door and turn around and face the building, looking at the Generac, the air conditioning units and everything, we went and decided to take and sawed out, coming out away from both sides of those. On this side by the air conditioner, we came at a 45 and came back over towards the driveway back here, our big graveled area. And then over by the Generac, we came out beyond it by about 8 feet, something like that, and came straight out to the driveway and sodded that out and put that black roll mat down so we can put gravel around there and keep the mowers and everything away from those units. Keep it clean looking. They're throwing grass and weed eating and making it a mess. And
Throw
I
a
just
rock
think
through the brand new generator.
exactly. I think we just thought it would be better to have that all nice limestone around the whole thing.
How many
So-
tons do you think you need?
Probably 20 ton.
What is it, about 35 a ton?
I don't know what, I want fours. I don't want little 57s. I want,
That's if you can get those.
that's true. I have to call and check. I just wanted to bring that up because I don't want to put crushed concrete back there around any of that stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's,
Trustees, not to take anything away, but you need to approve stuff with me because of financial.
Oh, that's what I was gonna.
Yeah, that's right.
But before you get moving on projects like this, the money to do that concrete, we're gonna be maxed out with everything we have. We need to leave a cushion to get us through the end of the year. If something else, God forbid, breaks down or happens around here, because I planned on $2,000 to $3,000 on that concrete out front here where our entrance is. I didn't plan on anything else like as of right now. And if we had any other breakdowns like garage doors or anything like that, which normally go bad, something will go bad on them. I don't, just keep that in mind.
So,
Was it okay to get some prices and do it next meeting?
I think you need to get prices and come
Oh, yeah.
in before
We can do
you.
that.
I mean, you got the
Make an honest
felt's all down.
decision.
I mean, it's not going.
Because we know it costs $3,000 to $4,000 possibly if you had to replace one of your garage doors totally, like 3,000 up to 3,000. If God forbid something happened, we know that usually a service call could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 bucks on any one of them garage doors. We have one brand new one, all the rest are worn. And, I know Stu goes out and there's always some kind of breakdown or something's going to happen mowing. You just got to anticipate that. And I'm just letting you know, there's the funds that are available. We're right here in May. You don't want to go too far. Wait till like July and August, see where we're at, and then we can place these in place.
all right,
Okay,
I do think there's a shortage. I think you're gonna have to call around. You may have to wait anyway. Call at least find prices out.
for different size stone. Yeah.
all right, well,
Okay.
you can get back to us. All right. Update on the Stuckey. I spoke to Bob Seitz from CCU. We cannot get a hold of Ryan Packer from the Shelley Company. Bob Seitz has said they are more than willing to come out and add whatever we need to get the road up to where it needs. So with that being said, we set up a meeting for me, Stu, Bob Seitz, and
Terry from
Terry
Melway.
from Melway, because he wants somebody there to tell them what needs to be done. And so that's what we're gonna do, and then we can bid it out. So it's the road service, the CCU wants the contractor to tell them, he was gonna try and get a hold of this Ryan Packer. He will not return my calls. I've called him and called him and called him. So that's what we're gonna do. It has to be, the road bed has to be finished prepped. That's not for us to, me or Stu to do. That's for a contractor to tell them what to do, and they don't want to come back more than once. He said, I want a contractor to tell us. So I set up the meeting.
So what was the reference to the additional money for us that you made? Or you just,
Additional money?
yeah, you acted, I thought you said something about how much it's gonna cost.
No, we didn't know what was, when we had when Melway was out and looked at another project, he stopped and looked at that, and we didn't know what CCU was gonna do at
Right,
that
at
time.
that point, we didn't
Okay.
know what they were gonna do, whether they were gonna haul any more stone in or
But when
what.
I called him because there's a culvert in there they gotta deal with. I wanted to see what they was gonna do about that. And I asked him, I said, well, have you got, was the Shelley company, Shelley? And he said, no, he hasn't called me either. And he
Okay.
said, he goes, we have no issue fixing it. We just don't know what to do.
Okay, so the mining company's saying they don't know what to do.
Right, he said, we
Okay.
planned on having to do something in the spring. He said, but we don't know what to do. I said, well, he goes, I don't want to come in here more than once.
Okay,
I said, so I'll get a contractor out here so we know what needs to be done, so it's ready to motivate.
I wasn't clear that it was the mining
Right.
company saying.
So that one, then the
Okay.
mine can prep it, we can have it bid and.
Yeah.
And finish the road. So that's where we're at. We're meeting next Tuesday at 10 a.m. You're more than welcome to come. And then that's all I've got on that.
Yep.
Is that best way to do it, Brian?
Yes.
What do you have?
Oh, I have, real quick for Stu, resident Cliff Sowers lives Georgetown. So Georgetown's not us, because that's county road.
County,
In between Sunlight and Midday. Would that be right? Or was there a Goshen?
Okay.
Is there a Goshen in there? Anyway, there's a ditch that he'd like to get cleaned out. And I told him, I said, well, Georgetown isn't us. He's like, oh, I know the township dug it out last time. I'm like,
no, wait a minute, he's saying Georgetown Road,
mm-hmm.
that's county.
Okay.
That's
So who should I have him call?
county,
Okay. Is there a phone number?
yes,
I'll get that from you later.
yes.
Thank you.
Probably the engineer. Engineer's office?
You just call one number and ask
All right.
to speak
He said it
to
was cleaned
somebody
out 4 or
about,
5 years ago. And now
about
it's
ditching,
full
and
again
they'll put
it's
you to the
backing
right
up.
person.
I
Okay.
think the witness-
Everybody calls the same number and you just have
You
to,
just kind of wait.
yeah, they'll dispatch you or give you the right
I'll
phone
get-
number to talk to the right.
I'll get the number from you and give it to him.
I think the wait list is like 2 years.
Start
Serious.
with a spoon and you might get done before they get there.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'll update you on the, remember we received a $19,000 check from Westover. I did talk to John Hoover about returning that, and I have done that.
All right, thank you. He didn't let you keep it.
I don't, he was very gracious. I talked to him and he left me another message and we wrote a nice thank you letter. Sent it to him.
Thank you. Anything else to?
I did talk to the prosecutor about the road damage on Stuckey. When he called me back today, there's all new regime in there. I shouldn't say that word, but all new staffing in there that he will assign to it. But he wants to give you all a good answer on how to proceed with that.
Yeah, it's pretty dished out in that one spot. Something's gonna have to be done with it.
So Brian, you didn't get a name yet from them? Who would be our contact name?
Yeah,
I turned,
or from the prosecutor.
From the prosecutor.
Yeah, you have Joel Ballou is his name. He will assign the person. I just got to get it to him. And I just got in contact with him today. Trustee Pirro got me all the information last Thursday night and gave it to me on some of the contacts, addresses and things. So I needed that to complete the package to give to the prosecutor.
No, I was just looking to see who was our representative now since they've had
Joel Ballou is our main prosecutor who then will give it to other prosecutors.
What's that? Can you spell his last name? Do you know it?
I'm not sure if it's BLO or BLOU or BLOU. UE. You can look on the website. I haven't
Okay.
got that far yet to get to it.
Okay,
I just
Thank you.
wanted to let you know, I'm working on it. Trustee Piro gave me the information and I'm working on getting it there. So you can get an opinion, because I asked him, when we do the opinion, if this ever happens again, what can we do as a township to put something in place, whether it's through the county or something, these trucks come driving in here and start ripping stuff out and
Right.
tear up our roads.
Just
you
like
know?
logging companies. and
Yeah,
stuff. They can
logging
do the same
companies and
thing.
stuff. And he thinks there's something there, but he didn't want to answer me until he could investigate and assign research to be done on it.
Well, there's a lot of oil wells, but getting old oil wells, that this could become more frequent.
Ripping them out and getting right out.
All right. That's all. We'll move on to zoning.
Since our last meeting, I issued 3 permits and 2 ag exemptions. And for the Crown Castle one, that was adding a new antenna on a tower, we determined there was no fee for that. Update on the Eppinger property, which was a junk vehicle nuisance. They removed the trailers and vehicles from the property, so that's taken care of. The Broadway junk vehicle, they got the letter, I have the receipt in there, on 4:30. They're supposed to call us at the appointment to inspect it. I have not received a call yet, and there's still vehicles as of last time I checked. Next zoning meeting is our regular meeting, next Monday. American Landfill will have a hearing June 7th. And then Trustee Griffith and I worked on creating proposed new fees for some of the fees in our fee schedule.
do we have that ready for them?
I made a couple copies.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So
So why don't you go over the few changes that we made?
So for the first one, for the single family, we compared all our fees to like areas around us and similar fees they have. We were under what they had, so we figured it'd be appropriate to bump it up. Same with the 2 family. And the multifamily, we're just matching it to the single family for that one. Wind energy, the fee for that was confusing because it said $1 per square foot, but that doesn't say if it's square foot of the base, square foot of the height. So we just made it a flat fee. For the junkyard, comparing it to the other fees that the other townships have, we were significantly lower than them. So we decided to increase that. Same with the landfill. And then,
So it's 2,000 net plus $100 per acre of the site.
yes.
And then we had the new one for,
New one for junk vehicles, we did actual cost plus the admin fee per vehicle, not to exceed $1,000.
Great.
so if you're good with that, then we would entertain a motion to accept that effective now.
Trustee Varian moves to accept the changes in the fee structure as presented, effective now.
Trustee,
What is it, May 10th? Yeah.
Trustee Piro, second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, thanks for working on this.
Yep.
This is good.
Mary, on the top of this, because I'll put this on the website, once you put all this in place, can you go ahead and put on the top of that, the dates
Dates effective.
effective on it? Because then that will be right on there when I post it on that for
Okay.
you. Okay?
It was getting so big, we were having a hard time keeping it to one page, but I think it's okay if it goes to two. And then once we finalize the short-term rental application fee, that will also be added on there.
Oh, great.
I seen that, 175.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is our standard for hearings and things like that.
Okay. Trustee Pure will make a motion to pay $165 for a new hard drive and the zoning computer in the zoning office.
Trustee Varian, second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Is that all you guys have, or is there any more other nuisance or anything?
That's the only nuisances I have.
Cliff, you have something?
I've got one real quick. This came to me from the prior zoning inspector. She said, this is the message I got. It said, a resident stopped me at the gas station and complained about these signs. And you probably have seen it if you're this side of the township. I don't know about that side of the township. The Bosley drain and septic signs that are on a lot of the corner poles.
Yeah, I've had complaints too.
She said, you'll see some on Hillvale. There are at least 4 on Indian Run. There are 2 on Wood. I told that person to call the office. And so I just wanted to make you aware that we'll get a phone call on that.
They're just,
I have a picture of it.
yeah, they're like maybe a little bigger than this.
Yeah, they're like,
Oh, they're a little bigger than that.
they're
Yeah, a
posted to
little
the
bigger than
poles.
this, but they're putting on telephone poles.
Yes,
And
and,
that's sitting on private property.
well, that's the thing. They're not allowed to put them on poles. When we were going around checking the township the other day, all those signs that they have on them posts, some of them are blocking your view when you pull up to like a stop sign to look one way or the other.
Mhm.
They got them on the telephone poles that are right there, at the intersection. You can't hardly
Can't see
see.
around them.
Yeah, you're trying to look through them to look for traffic.
I believe they're still based out of,
They got them plastered everywhere.
I believe they're still based out of Louisville. I know the company did change hands recently. A new owner is now, it says on their sign.
That's what the
ownership.
sign says, yeah.
But there is a new guy, Mr. Bosley, who currently owns it, is making, taking payments from the new owner. But anyhow, I believe they're still located in the Louisville area. But they've done a good job on spreading them around the
Oh,
township.
they've got them
They're everywhere.
It is. If it's blocking vision, traffic hazard,
Take them down.
you're standing near the road then. But all these signs that are back on posts that are back, they're actually on private property. How they walked back that far to put the sign up, I don't know. We can't go on anyone's property and take that sign
Well,
down.
no, and I'm not taking it off of a telephone pole either. It's not my job to do that.
Right.
Some of them are like right there at Crestlawn and Indian Run.
Mhm.
That one there, it blocked my view when I went to look back to the south towards,
If there's
Bill
a
Church.
traffic hazard, then you probably should clear it.
I was gonna say.
But it's up to individual property owners if there's signs on their property to do whatever they want to do.
Call the utility company.
You can.
yeah, you're not allowed to put stuff on
No.
telephone poles.
Yeah, they'll take them all.
So
So, all right, that's all I had.
All
that
right.
was an easy one. I want to go back to the one nuisance that Mary's been working on. The one on Broadway with no response. I think that we would encourage her to reach out maybe again one more time to him. I think it's a gentleman, I'm not positive, but.
Yeah.
Because there's so many vehicles hit there, that's where we're gonna get into an issue. I think that we would have to probably, that's why I'm asking who's the prosecutor. I think that we need to reference with the prosecutor before we start doing this.
Joe Blue.
So,
Certified letters, girls, just so I understand, or is it talk about the Ohio Revised Code is using numbers on it when it goes out to these people?
in the body of your letter,
The only reason why is just make sure if you're gonna reissue any, make sure it's citing that. because I know he'll say that, one of the
Right.
first things he'll say. Make sure the high revised code on that about, what they deem junk or excessive and all that.
We listed that in the letter I sent to him.
Yeah. The numbers, the high revised
Mhm.
code numbers on there, that's
Yeah.
key.
I think
I know
Heather
that's
helped her set that letter up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really key when they, anything for them to back us up at the township.
So why don't you send me that letter so I can make sure it says everything that we want? I do think that we'll give him a couple more weeks and we'll reach out again. In the meantime, I just want to clarify with the prosecutor that we're at a point, we made a resolution already for that fee. It's on our fee schedule. So we just want to verify with them before we try to use
Will
it.
you contact him regarding that because you're overseeing zoning? I mean, you.
Yeah, as soon as I know who it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's Joel Ballou.
Yeah.
But like I say, get on the website. He told me you can email right into the main office, but put his attention, then he assigns it. Then you'll get contact from whoever he assigns it to, then you'll be dealing with that.
Okay. And I will mention that Mary had contacted the regional planning for an informal review. So that's like your initial, hey, this is something that we're looking at doing. This is our ideas. Give me your feedback. And that was on the commission's working on the use of public land for trails and parks and things like that. That issue that we talked about. And I was surprised the response regional planning came back with was that, well, I feel that's very inappropriate for you to do that, basically. But regional planning funds public use like that. And then that's the reason I'm asking, because she included someone from the prosecutor's office on there, on her response.
Is Bob Font still on that board? On regional planning?
Oh, I'm sure he is, yeah. That's where he gets his funding from, so.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's where he's.
it's, I think, a conflict of interest for them. She was referencing to us that we needed to go to the prosecutor. Well, it's an issue for the prosecutor also because that's the funding mechanism for public use of land, which is why we did consult a private attorney before we talked about this issue. So that's how Mary responded to her, is that I just thought it was very inappropriate of regional planning to include the prosecutor's office on her response when we asked for an informal, here's an informal request. It wasn't a formal. And I don't know who the person she included wasn't anyone I ever heard of before. So, and it wasn't the name that Brian said. So we'll see where we go with that. Regional planning gives a recommendation. They don't make our rules. We just have to remember that's what regional planning does. So she sent a response to her and was very nice with her response back. But I did think that was very inappropriate for her to include the prosecutor and to make the personal comment.
Division chief is Joel Blue in the civic department.
Okay.
That's who you'll need to talk to. The assistant chief is Deborah Donaldson, who we've dealt with many a time.
Yeah.
And then there's assistant prosecutors. That's the ones that will end up getting a Yo's, a Dybel. I dealt with them. There's 3 names there. They'll
And they
be all
give
new.
different ones.
Yeah, they're all
The
new.
problem, Brian, is it's a conflict of interest for the prosecutor too, on that question.
If they're representing the regional
Right.
plan. Well,
Which
we
is
ran
why I
into
went
that-
to the private attorney for the
Yeah.
recommendation.
We ran into that on some other things. What was it? There was something a few years ago on the road projects. They wouldn't talk because they represented the commissioners. They
Right.
wouldn't talk to us, township,
Right,
or give an opinion, I should say. They
right,
would talk to you, but they would just say they could give opinion.
right. And so the nice response Mary sent back was that, well, we've already consulted a private attorney and we were advised to put it through our commission. And so we'll see what they have to say, but we're going to separate the 2 issues. The other issue they had was they wanted us to put our short-term rentals in our residential areas. Well, people don't want them in the residential areas.
Mhm.
The commission decided to just put it in the business zoning because a lot of people think it's a business and it sort of fit there. And we have very limited business zoning. So it's a nice way to integrate it in, see if it works, see what the issues are. So we responded back to her again, we don't want it in our residential. So I think they're just making us try to follow a template they have for other
I was gonna
areas.
say, there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing, but they're putting it in the residential. That's probably why she said that back, yeah.
you know.
Right.
Yep.
So we'll see.
All right. I have no business. We already did the hard drive. Is that the same? These are two of them at 165, Ryan, under the new business.
Yeah, just cross that one off because you already actually
We already
approved that.
approved
That's,
that one.
that's the
That's
same
another
as the one under zoning, okay. That's what I
It's,
just-
it's actually not the same, it's
They're
different,
different, but they're both,
but you already approved that.
Oh,
they're both in there.
That was the laptop, to put a new hard drive in the laptop that I actually gave it to zoning so she could start utilizing, getting used to hooking it up to the TVs and things like that for zoning.
do you have anything you want to say about the audit starting Wednesday?
It's just that this room I'll be setting up tables after tonight in the back that'll have all 2019 on one table, 2020. Soup Heroes helping me. They already sent us 40 questions, which are tests. So we've been working on that, gathering the information. They will contact each one of you probably, trustees, and get your input on some questions they'll ask. And then we'll have to do a lot of things on some letterhead and things while they're here on site. The contact is Sarah, and I apologize, I don't remember her last name, is our main contact out of the state of Columbus, but they're sending a girl, I just remember first names is Val, and their crew is coming here on Wednesday morning.
Which firm is it?
What's that?
Which firm? Is it Charles E. Harris or
No, this is the state
the state auditor?
This
Okay.
is state auditor.
So they'll call us, but do you need us to come this weekend here at all?
Yeah, they'll call and probably just question and email.
Okay.
They always do a question, like they'll ask you different things, and I don't even know what they ask you.
They're always looking for fraud.
Yeah. And that's what they're after, because they want to see that, resolutions are being made, that we're not spending money without your all approval. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Correspondence, there's a township association meeting on May 20th. There should be a thing on your computer for that.
I think that's their first in-person meeting.
Since,
Yeah.
since, I don't think you've had any since you've been on.
Nope, they've not.
You have
Oh,
to
really?
respond by
Next
May
Friday,
14th.
They've all been Zoom
or this Friday.
or all call in.
They've got Leo Shirky with the Ohio State Highway Patrol speaking. It's usually, they're pretty good to go to if you're. Wow.
26.
So I've got,
Trustee Varian moves to adjourn and pay bills.
Trustee Griffith seconds.
all those in favor, aye.
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 Thanks for coming, man.
Oh, that
Hey,
sounds fast.
I sent Chief Shear the
Are you,
application.
are you interested?
Open festival.
Yes.
I'm not
Because,
good. I have a wedding
It'll keep them covered under our liability.
Thursday.
We see
He
application.
said he didn't get the application attachment. It wasn't attached to the text.
Oh, the first time I sent it to it, the second time you should have got it.
Oh, okay.